Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Outer Rim Broadcast. Broadcast number 4. Today we're going to talk about Rebels. Zach and I have been rewatching this show because it has been a minute since we've watched it.
Yep.
So I have been on the grind. I think I started like a week ago, and I'm halfway through season 3 already. Season 3, episode 12. Zach has been slacking.
I've been slacking a little bit, but it's all good. We're talking about season 1 for this episode. We're trying to rewatch all of Rebels before Ahsoka comes out, so we're good to go for that. But yeah, season 1. It's probably the weakest season.
No, to be fair, though,
I don't know.
I didn't realize how like the first time I watched it through, I really thought it wasn't that good of a show. Granted, I watched all of Clone Wars. And then right after I finished that, season 7, Clone Wars, everything. Right after I finished that, I watched Rebels. And I think...
Wait, really?
Yeah, I think that's why...
I did not know that.
I think that's why I didn't really... It was too slow for me at first. Like when I first watched it. This was like 2020. This was like during COVID. So when I first watched it, I was like, wow, this show's really slow. Like this really isn't like that exciting. Watching it back again... It's like watching it back for the first time. Like these episodes, I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of know like he's gonna get picked up, like the big overarching things. But watching it back, there is so much that happens. There is so much that happens.
Some of the best like character arcs, and the writing is really good.
And like watching, I mean, going forward a little bit, but like a couple seasons in, like Thrawn, the main character, doesn't come until season 3. You don't see Maul until, season 2, almost at the end of season 2. You don't, I mean, and then just the way Kanan is written, like he is just one of the greatest Jedi. But
Kanan's like character gets so much better once he goes blind. But
yeah, with Bendu.
That's season 2.
That is season 2. That's 3. So we're not gonna go there.
We're not there. One of my favorite episodes of the show, but it's in season 1, is the Rise of the Old Masters, and they think Master Luminara is like being held captive, but it turns out it's just a trap to lure Jedi. And that was such a dark episode because they go into the cell and she's standing there, but then like they feel something's off, and then all of a sudden she like walks into the like cell or whatever you want to call it, the little like box. And then you see her skeleton, and it's like, dude, that's dark.
But like, it makes you think, like, are there other bodies of like famous Jedi that they have locked up in the same way to like get their essence, their presence? Because Kanan felt her presence when they broke into the prison. They're like, I feel her presence, but something isn't right.
It's like, remember in Obi-Wan, the episode where he's walking through on Camino? Or not Camino, the Fortress Inquisitors. And you see the Jedi bodies, and you see the old guy from Clone Wars and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it was just like that.
That's
exactly what it was. It was her. She was in one of those.
Yeah.
And then the Grand Inquisitor like closes the cell behind them, and he's in there, and he's like, you know.
Speaking of, I didn't realize he died off so early.
Dude, he really does. Kanan put the work onto him.
He did.
But in the end, he technically killed himself because he was more afraid of Vader than death.
Yeah, he let go. Because there are far worse things to fear.
He was more afraid of Vader, or maybe even the Emperor, but probably Vader because Vader's the one who works with the Inquisitors. But he was more afraid of Vader than of death, dude. That's
what did he say?
crazy.
Like, there are far worse things to fear than death, and then he just lets go.
And then just lets go. And then you find out in, season 2, Vader comes in, and you're like, oh.
Dude, then his arc is cool, even though it's like 3 episodes.
Vader, he pops in.
No, I'm talking about Grand Inquisitor.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah. Yeah, no, he was a good villain for season 1. That was one complaint people had, was like they might have killed him off too quickly, but I mean, as the show goes on, it's like, yeah, you don't need him anymore.
Well, the other thing too is we saw him in Kenobi too a little bit.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
also controversial because his head was too fat. But again, it's animated to live action.
It's yeah, it's whatever.
I really
Well,
didn't
because
care.
like in episode 3, they have one of his speeches, and it
And
looks
Utapau.
good. So like I do think it didn't look as good, but it's also because he's actually like moving around and
Mhm.
more and actually doing stuff.
Right.
It was the same reason for Ahsoka's like her
Her like
what are those things? The it starts with an L.
I know what you're talking about, but
How do I
her hair, quote unquote,
yeah.
to get longer.
They made it shorter when it should have been longer, but it's because she's like flipping around and.
Mhm.
But for the Ahsoka show, it does look longer now.
It
I think
does.
they figured out a way to like have it. But I love Ezra's kind of like the start of his journey is really good because he goes from like he says he only looks out for himself, but like the first thing we see him do is he helps the guy being harassed by the stormtroopers.
The shop owner.
But he also does take food from him for it.
Again,
but he still did help
it's
him.
not free. It's not free.
So it's like
And
he did have a good heart all along.
The cool part about that too is that you still see that later, even when he is a Jedi. You're like, oh yeah, we can help him out because I'm a Jedi, but also we gain very valuable information from this.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the thought process that you've had to have at this point in time, you know.
Right.
But and I really like you hear like that force sound that they use, like the whistling, and then him and Kanan are like kind of like aware of each other. But
Yeah.
Ezra doesn't know what that is, but Kanan does. So
Yeah.
and then Kanan tests him with the holocron. He lets him steal it, and then when he gives it back, it's like opened. Yeah, and he doesn't even know like what he did, but Kanan knew. So what were some of your thoughts?
My main thoughts on the season was literally just about how fast it moved in comparison to what I originally thought. Because again, I came off of season 4, season 5, season 6, season 7 of Clone Wars.
Dude, that's crazy. I never knew that. I always thought you watched Rebels before the final season of Clone Wars came out.
No, I didn't watch Clone Wars until the final season was already out.
What?
Yeah, I didn't watch it before that. I swear.
Wow, bro's a newbie fan, bro.
Newbie fan of that, bro. I swear. No, because I was always like,
you had a lot of knowledge already of Star Wars, so that's crazy.
It was, but I like watched. So my thing was, I like to watch like all like the theory videos and stuff on YouTube. Like, oh, what happened to Darth Maul after Phantom Menace? I'd watch all those videos, and like, so I got all the lore anyways. And then I'm watching the Clone Wars show, like, oh, this is where it comes from.
Yeah.
But
no, because I grew up on Clone Wars.
So I remembered a few episodes like early, like season 1 or 2 episodes, just because they were on Cartoon Network.
Did you ever watch the movie in theaters?
No,
I watched that in theaters.
I did not watch that in theaters. I watched that actually after I watched Rebels. I watched that one like last.
You know what's funny is, so me and my dad saw it in theaters like opening weekend or whatever, and we like didn't care for it. And then we actually watched the show when it came out, and we were like, "This is actually really good." But yeah, I grew up watching Clone Wars like every week when the episodes would come out, and then Rebels I started watching when it was on season 2. So from season 2 on, I watched it like every week when it came out.
See, I thought about that today. I'm like, if this came out like as a TV show today, I don't think I could. I don't think it would be as good.
It's because the episodes that things don't happen, that like as much stuff doesn't happen in it's you have a more negative reaction to it when it's once a week, because you're like, oh, I waited all week for this. But then when you binge it, it's fine. You love it. You know, you don't care.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So on rewatches, everything's always better sometimes.
That is a good point. I mean, I don't know. Then I also thought like, I don't know, because to me, like, Ezra's so frustrating, but he's supposed to be. So, like, it gets to the point where you're like, dude. And again, this is later season. Season 1, he doesn't, like, get the Sith holocron yet. He doesn't do all that stuff. So, like, that part is not as crazy. But, like, some of it's a little aggravating. But again,
Yeah,
it's
part of his
way
arc.
it is. It's way better on this part on the rewatch than it is my first time watching through. And I have no idea why that is. I have no idea.
Dude, you don't even know when the final scene or whatever, season 2, when he's like opening up the Sith holocron, bro. The theories were going crazy. I was like, everybody was like, dude, is this gonna be one of those like kind of stories again where like they have to fight each other? Maybe Ezra kills Kanan, or Kanan's gonna have to kill, like, dude, there was insane theories, and then that doesn't really ever happen. But
No, but that was also a good
Yeah.
episode because that was the
that was a really good episode.
Ahsoka and Vader fight episode. But
Mhm.
anyways, that's also season 2.
Yeah.
A later episode, whenever Zach decides.
Anyway,
to catch up.
season 1, Callus, he's very annoying right now. Very, very annoying. But he's one of the best written characters in Star Wars.
And again, he hasn't had that chance.
Not even just Rebels. In Star Wars, he's one of the best written. You
Yeah.
already have, so far in season 1, like, you already have the little the seeds being planted of like his story with the
with the
the
Lasats.
Zabraks, right? No, not
Lasats.
yeah, the Lasats.
Zabrak is
Maul's
Maul's
Maul's people. Yeah, the and like how he's the one who, you know, ordered the attack with using those weapons to like completely decimate them, and then he has one of the royal guard staffs, and
yeah.
it's, you already have those seeds planted of like that he's just so evil.
But then
so to see his growth eventually is so good.
yeah, I mean, he's a great Imperial character, especially before all the stuff between him and Zeb happens on that ice planet. But like it puts in place like, oh, this guy could never be a traitor. Like he is like an actual villain. And sure enough.
So Rebels is very, very, to me, it's very, 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 very similar to Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
And Dave Filoni used to work on Avatar, and he said that like he does draw a lot of inspiration from that sometimes, and he does fit in like Easter eggs and stuff. So Callus's whole arc is very feels very inspired by Zuko from Avatar, and that cave episode with Callus and Zeb is very similar to an episode that happens in Avatar as well, and so that's partly kind of like why I like it a lot, or why I liked Avatar a lot, because I actually just recently watched Avatar.
Sure.
I watched Rebels first. So watching Avatar, I was just getting Rebels vibes, and you know that's good. That's a good thing.
Right.
It makes Rebels better for drawing inspiration from that. I'm pretty sure he did, but obviously I don't have any confirmation.
I didn't realize he.
It just feels like that.
I didn't realize he worked on Rebel or on
He
Avatar.
directed a lot of the season 1 episodes. They're all really good too. Avatar, you should watch it too. You would really like it.
So-
It starts off slowish, kind of like Rebels.
So here's
but
the,
it
here's the
takes
thing.
up
Here's
a
the thing.
lot.
The same thing for Rebels. Or for like whatever. I watched Avatar as a kid on Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon or whatever the hell it was on. I watched it like
Nickelodeon, yeah.
episode to episode. But then after that, I never like cared enough about the story to put it all together. I never rewatched it when it was on Netflix. I never did any of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to rewatch now because, they're kind of like they kind of made what's called Avatar Studios now, and it's like a part of Nickelodeon, and they're like about to launch like a lot of new stuff. So they're working on an animated show of them like in their late 20s. And then Netflix is doing a live action adaptation of the original show. And
Already
then
did that though.
they're doing a
Did
Zuko
not do
movie.
very good.
They're doing a Zuko movie. What else are they doing? They're doing a bunch of stuff. And then you have the sequel show that came out a long time ago. The Legend of Korra,
I remember when that one came out.
which
too.
is the next Avatar after Aang. Which apparently is good, but it's like not as good as the original, obviously. But it's still like good. Except I hear season 2 is like the worst season or something. But I watched like I think about like 10 episodes of that so far, and it's pretty good.
Hmm.
I enjoy it. It's more modern, you know.
Well, you need to put the kind of energy back into Rebels because
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I was on the Survivor grind. I was watching a lot of Survivor, the new seasons that came out.
awful show, awful show.
It's not an awful show. Survivor's a goated.
You gotta say you just hate Rebels.
Anyways, I
So no-
watched like eight. I watched like up to episode 8, like within like 3 days, and then got into Survivor again.
Yeah, literally like halfway through the season.
I go through a Survivor phase every year.
No, so I mean, I'm just going back to Rebels. I'm impressed at how fast Ezra like advances because obviously
Mhm.
episode 1 and 2, he's just a kid, doesn't heard stories about the Jedi. I mean, he was born the day that the Jedi fell. He was born on Empire
Yep.
Day or whatever. So obviously he's heard the stories, never been able to like experience that. And then that day he meets Kanan and the crew.
Mhm.
He realizes there's something there, messes with the holocron a bit, and then by about I forget exactly where he like becomes like they start to train, but I want to say it's like
It's after episode 2, but
was
it's
gonna say-
technically one episode because it was just like part 1 and 2.
yeah.
It's right there.
Yeah. So like by 3 episodes in, he's somewhat got it. By episode 10, Path of the Jedi, they just find a Jedi temple on Lothal,
Mm-hmm.
and he already talks to Yoda, which says something about Yoda's
Goated.
like thing too, about him like becoming, or not becoming, but whatever, finishing his training with Qui-Gon.
Yeah, and he probably could sense them through the Force that they were like there,
Yeah, well, because
so he reached out.
So Ezra talked to Yoda. Obviously, Kanan just kneeled and meditated out front, waited for Ezra. Ezra immediately gets his crystal.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately gets his kyber crystal, which is sick. It just gets dropped down. They didn't have to go to Ilum. They didn't have to do any of
No.
that random stuff. And then the very next episode, they meet Lando Calrissian. Like, what kind of stuff was Dave Filoni smoking? But it was hilarious.
Yeah, Lando was good. I forgot about that actually.
Yeah, I mean, the name of the episode is called "Idiot's Array," which is a hand in Sabak.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. Dude, we gotta play Sabak again.
Sabak, that was fun. I have it.
Sabak is fun.
I think I have it here. I think I brought it with me. But no, so it's just he advances so fast. And I mean,
Well, it's like he does and does it because like it's not like only a day is passing by between each episode. You know,
no,
it's a
but
while.
still within a couple, even at like the extreme, like let's say a month.
And
or
even
two.
then, he's still pretty trash in the finale of the
he
season
is.
1.
He is, but again,
season 1 finale.
the steps to get your lightsaber crystal, in Clone Wars that took you.
Well, it
years
depends.
and
It depended for each person.
Well,
The
at least
crystal,
at least
it
from
was-
what
it was
we've
different.
seen, at least from what we've seen with like the Gunji episode in Clone Wars, with
Because like
Ahsoka
some
and
of them in that episode got theirs pretty quick. Like
yeah,
it's all you know.
and I guess it is different because the Jedi Order is no longer a thing, so they're trying to get people to learn fast. But at the same time, even to catch on that quick is still ridiculous because he's not like an idiot. Like he's not like bad in the Force. Like he's he's naturally
Ezra's got
strong.
a good connection. And then Kanan becomes so strong because he becomes like one with it. He just becomes one with the Force.
Because he has
Unlike
to
how
be.
the monks were. And
He has to be.
he uses the Force to like eat. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like he just fully commits to it. And like when he lost his eyesight, he did better against Maul than when he
Oh yeah,
had his eyesight. It's crazy.
like he's like almost like the second coming of Qui-Gon. A little bit,
Except blind
except blind.
and alive. My bad. Too soon.
Yeah. Spoilers.
Hey, yo, you hear the new that new Star Wars movie, Return of the Jedi, came out in theaters?
Oh no way, really?
Yeah, bro, it kind of flopped.
I only got like 5 million
Only
or
like
something.
only like 5 million, dude. That's kind of crazy, and it looks like it's like from
Dinosaurs.
like the '80s or something, dude.
Could you imagine? I think it made like I don't know how much it made, but it probably made that within a couple hours in 1980 money, which is like add another zero to that
Oh yeah, no,
in
those
today's money.
movies made so much money. Oh my god, so much.
But I wanted to go see it in theaters, but I genuinely just did not have time because the closest theater to
Yeah,
me is like
same.
20 minutes away,
That's wild.
and it's a
Yeah,
little
but yeah,
rough.
like I seeing that in IMAX would have been crazy.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for if that to me like that was way longer than 25 years ago. You know what I mean? Because, but then again, I think about
Dude,
it, and it was almost 10 years between A New Hope and Return of the Jedi. You know what I mean?
what do you mean? Like release times?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because didn't it come out in 80? Well, so 25 years. What is that?
Um,
Math is hard.
hold on.
No, 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 no.
Yeah, we talked about this, bro.
We're
New
looking it up.
Hope. A New Hope came out in
77.
1977.
That one I knew.
Return of the
Came out
Jedi came
83.
out in
Okay,
1983.
I lied.
Bro, you were
Not 10 years.
tripping.
For some reason, I thought it was 86. For some
I'm
reason, I
like,
thought it was 86.
it was only like 2 year differences between these.
Okay,
I
but
think it
still.
was like 77, 79, and then 83.
So yeah,
think.
so that's 40 years. Never mind. I'm tripping. I don't know where I saw 25. I'm mad tripping.
Yeah,
So anyways,
Mark Hamill. You think Mark Hamill aged that much? And
dude, he had a rough time.
1980 is when Empire Strikes Back came out.
Did you not see the sequels? Of course, he had a rough time. They age fast when you're in distress. No, but like I would love to. I mean, the next step obviously is the 50-year anniversary, but at the same time, you have, the 30 year for the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I mean, Phantom Menace came out what 90,
I think it was 99.
99? Because I mean, they started
99 or
filming.
98.
I think 99 is right because they started filming like 92 or 93, and it just took them forever to make that movie. But no, so
Phantom 99, yeah.
99.
No,
so,
they didn't start filming that long because
I guess
like
they
Natalie
started.
Portman didn't age like that for
No. But like they started.
like pre-production, you mean?
Yeah, but they were like working on it in 92, like the
Word.
CGI stuff too. Anyways, like those anniversaries are coming up, and when those go in theaters, that would be sick. Because like
Mhm.
even for Revenge of the Sith, what was that? 2006, 2005, 2006.
2008, I think.
You think so? I don't think it was that late.
I might be tripping.
I think you're tripping. I think it's 06.
'06 sounds right.
At any rate, 3 years.
2005.
Okay, well in 2 years, that movie's gonna be 20,
That's crazy.
and that's gonna be probably in theaters. Because that would be
Has
sick.
to.
That would be
Has
sick.
to.
Well, doesn't that make Attack of the Clones 20 years today? Or not today, but 20 years
Attack of
this
the
year?
Clones came out in 2002, so it's
Oh, yeah, it
21.
went. Where was that in theaters? Come on. People didn't like that one, to be fair, though.
In my opinion, it's the worst of the three.
You think so?
But
I don't know.
yeah,
dude.
because Phantom Menace is carried by the Duel of the Fates. It's just so good.
That's true. But I love Attack of the Clones. I like all three. Obviously, Revenge of the Sith is first, but like 1 and 2, I cannot decide.
Yeah, no, 2 is really good with the like Anakin's and mom stuff,
Yeah.
and then
and the Raiders.
like the final fight
Tuscans.
too.
Hmm.
The Battle of Geonosis,
Yep.
and then Dooku, the fight, and
Dooku
then
and
you see Yoda in action for the first time.
The beginning of the Clone Wars.
People, okay, another big thing that brought that movie down in the eyes of the boomers was that Yoda fight, because they thought it was just crazy.
He's supposed to
They
be
just-
crazy.
They
He is
they
supposed
they
to
just
be.
could not see this little dude doing all that. It's like, bro, give it up. He's like that. Same thing with
is.
Anakin being a kid at one point.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
I don't know. Their whole argument was like, like the dialogue is horrible. This is just a bad. Like it's too political. There's too much stuff going on. There's no like actual.
Some of the dialogue is rough. Sure, I can admit that.
That was never George Lucas's strong point, and we all knew that. However,
but the acting is perfectly fine.
Especially like the action scenes.
Dude, I saw this it was like a YouTube short or something. It was this older guy, dude. It's like the cringiest video I think I've possibly ever seen. And it was like all the complaints about like he was like, I'm not gonna go and see Return of the Jedi in theaters, blah 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 blah, because like it's the it's the new cut that George Lucas did.
With Anakin in the end of it.
Yeah, it was like you given all these reasons. It was like they added in the Vader saying no, and he was like, keep that prequel stuff out of it, blah 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 blah, and then some whatever with Hayden Christensen. I'm like, dude, shut up.
It's
because that's the same guy that will say George Lucas is a genius when talking about the Disney stuff, but then when it comes to seeing the George Lucas version of Return of the Jedi, you want to hate on it. Like, where's the consistency?
It just makes it because he didn't have that stuff written yet, right? So that wasn't a part of the story at
and
the
then
time.
the addition of the other planets celebrating with the fall of the Empire, it's so much better. It ties everything in better. And then so you're gonna go and hate on that, blah 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 blah. But then when we're talking about the Disney Star Wars, you're gonna be out here and saying we're not following George Lucas's vision, blah 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 blah. It's like you can't have it both ways, bro. You know?
Yeah. Dude, I have the original trilogy on VHS tape. Like in that.
Oh, dude, I have the original too.
In that 3-pack with like Darth Vader's on one side and I think Yoda's on the other or something. It's that 3-pack in a box. It's still got the old like old Darth Vader or old Anakin as the ghost. It has everybody hugging each other instead of all the planets and stuff. It's so cool.
I don't know. I don't think I have that anymore, but I do have the original DVDs. But I think it's they have the original cut. Theatrical. I think it's the George Lucas cut that he did because it's like it's numbered 4, 5, and 6.
Oh yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, he named A New Hope number 4. He actually named it like because it used to just be Star Wars. He named it A New Hope, and then Episode 4 like only like a year or whatever after. Like, it was pretty quick. So like all the old heads who complain about blah blah blah, it's called Star Wars, blah 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 blah. It's like, bro, it was like called Star Wars for maybe a year, buddy. Maybe a year. Relax.
No, I mean, I love those movies.
I was thinking is like my dad, he grew up just like all they did, and he loves the new stuff. You know what I mean? He loves.
Well, so the thing is, everybody hated on like the politics and stuff. I'm like, well, that's the whole thing, right? It's a government that's tyrannical being overthrown. The whole thing is about politics. So you have to show where they came from. You have to show where the government went from republic to empire.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to show how the corrupt, supreme chancellor is like, yeah, I'm going to stay in office a little bit. Y'all can't do anything about it. And how that turns into the empire. Like, you have to show that. You can't just show, like, Yoda being old and decrepit all the time. Or, the main character of the entire franchise. You can't show... You have to show him, every once in a while, at least.
Yeah.
But again, people think Luke and whatever, and Han and Chewie are the main characters. Which they are of the original trilogy, but... Of the overarching story, it's Anakin. And that was said by George Lucas himself.
Skywalker family and stuff. Anyways, back to Rebels season 1.
Yeah, what the hell happened?
I gotta keep finishing my rewatch, but I think it's the weakest season just because of the beginning parts, because it's like they don't have as much to do right now. So
far, I agree. The only thing with this, the first season is the most like coherent, like front to back. Like it's like the whole season is like one story. Whereas season 2 and season 3 jump around quite a bit. There are larger gaps and like they just jump around. It's like, oh, we're on Lothal again out of nowhere, and then season 1's like episode to episode.
That's true, but season 1 is also there's one episode where they're just trying to get a fruit, and then the next episode is like going to the prison.
No. Listen, but they get the Maloo Run one was a character building episode between Zeb and
Oh yeah, no, for
Ezra.
sure.
But then the thing is, that TIE fighter that they stole in that episode
Yeah, yeah, they actually
comes
stashed
back
it.
later.
And it well, because they weren't planning on ever using it again, they
Yeah,
just
and
left it.
Sabine
But then
painted it
it
up,
became Sabine's like paint canvas,
which actually looks sick.
which I don't think they knew about, right?
Um, they,
Did they know about that?
I thought they
I don't
did
remember.
because they wouldn't have. Sabine wouldn't have known that it was there if they didn't tell her. So
Yeah,
maybe
right.
I mean
I think they did.
they probably Sabine, or I mean Ezra and Zeb probably knew that. They probably told Sabine where it was, but I don't know if they.
Yeah,
I can't remember if they
maybe.
knew that she painted it. Either way,
It's
to
always
me, it's the
always
most
funny.
coherent. It's the most coherent story because
It's
like front to back season.
it's
So
always
far.
funny when Ezra like tries to hit on Sabine, and then Zeb
Yeah.
is just like making fun of him.
Yeah. It's like I would try it. No, so again in season 3, like I just finished the episode where like they get one of the Fae, whatever the Mandalorian is, and then she gets her jetpack finally. And the first thing she does when she uses it is like grabs Ezra, and Ezra still in season 3 is like 3 years older or whatever. You can see his face be like, "Oh," and they freaking blast off while they're hugging each other. I'm like, "Oh my god, this is ridiculous." But again, it's just that parallelism between them two. They're not a thing, but his like butterflies with her, and then Kanan and Hera, their not so secret relationship.
It's like, yeah, I mean, I could see. Well, actually, it's been such a long time. Never mind. I was say I could see them being a thing now, but they haven't seen each other in freaking 20 years or whatever.
What do you mean, like after the?
Sabine and Ezra.
Yeah, what you mean, like after they could be a thing after the Thrawn thing? After he like.
Yeah, no, I was saying like they could be a thing like in the Ahsoka show, but it's
Oh,
been like 20 years.
I don't think. I think they're both too focused on their own thing at this point. Well, at least
Yeah, for sure.
at that point, I should say.
But the one thing I do like about Rebels is it does feel like one whole story.
Hmm.
Whereas Clone Wars is kind of like less of a coherent story.
Yeah, you have
know
a
what I
bunch of like other little stories, but and they both have their positives. They both have their negatives.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, Clone Wars obviously you get the great stories, but they also lap over like 4 seasons. Like Rebels to me is just it's like a book, and like each thing is a chapter. Like they just keep going. They success each other, you know. But the first season to me has been like the most coherent as a single story. It doesn't jump around as much.
It also has to be, I guess, to get people into it.
Yeah. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the other seasons, but obviously more stuff happens.
The other
in the
seasons
other
are better,
seasons.
in my opinion.
The more stuff happens
Especially
in the
season
other
4.
seasons, but like as a whole story, like first episode we're here, next episode we ended up in Lothal again, and we're back at this Imperial base. Next episode we're here, and like there's no like okay there was a time jump again, but you know the first one is like okay I remember this is how this led up to this.
Yeah.
So far at least halfway through season 3. That's my prediction, I guess.
I also like Ezra and Kanan's like growing connection
Yeah.
in season 1, and then like the episode with where they're trying to get Luminara. Kanan's trying to get her so that she can train Ezra, and Ezra thinks Kanan's trying to get rid of him, but Kanan
He kind of
thinks
is.
that Ezra just needs like a better teacher because he doesn't believe in himself,
Right.
but Ezra thinks he doesn't believe in him, but and then they realize like they just want each other, just
Well, they're
don't
meant.
need a better teacher.
They're perfect for each other because they both need the help. The way the way Kanan needs to learn is he needs to learn by teaching, and he needs to like use his own lessons that he was taught on to somebody else for him to realize this makes sense. But because he used Yoda's do or do not, there is no try. He goes, yeah, I never knew what that one meant, and then like 2 episodes later he goes, oh, because they did something, and it was like
This is what he meant.
yeah.
Because it's also it's insane. Kanan's a very good teacher for not ever completing his training. He never
Yeah.
completed his training. He was still a Padawan. He was so young.
Yeah. He did. He
And
did complete his training in Rebels.
exactly.
Technically, the second time they went to the temple with Ahsoka.
It's he was an amazing Jedi master when he died. He was a Jedi master by power and mentality. You know.
And like a top 10 list, I think that like that feat of using the
it was like
Force, it was like one of the most powerful times ever.
Yeah, it was like, I think it was the most powerful like thing we've seen until at the time until Luke's Force
In The Last Jedi.
cross. Yeah, like that's insane what he did.
Bro was
Making
just messing around.
an image of himself like super far away. Like that's nuts. While having been disconnected from the Force for so long, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
But that, and then what Kanan did, and then Grogu kind of did it too. But I would say Kanan's was probably
But the fire thing, well,
more
Kanan's
powerful.
was a lot bigger. I think the explosion was bigger, and he had to push the ship away too. I'm pretty sure. I
Yeah,
haven't
he
gotten
had
to that
a-
part, but he like pushed them away.
Yeah, he pushes them away. He's like holding it back with one hand, holding the explosion back with another hand, and then
And then-
pushes them
Okay, and then
both.
does he unblind himself? I'm pretty sure he like can see again for like that
Yeah,
split second.
yeah, he can see again. So, I don't remember if they ever gave a full explanation on that, but basically people were saying the Force allowed him the gift of like sight for one last time because of his like, you know, he was the self-sacrifice. Like
Yeah,
they
you
gave
earned
him
your
they
sight back.
gave him the gift of being able to just see what he was protecting one last time.
Yeah,
But yeah, he does get his sight back. And then some people were saying it could be like something with the heat, whatever. But it was the Force.
probably makes it worse.
It was the Force. The Force gave him sight.
But I really like, I guess, how we set up as well, because he's like, he'll like sort of come back. He'll be like, oh, yeah, maybe I can do this, and then like the next mission, they're like, oh no, I don't know what I'm doing, and then like he like flip flops back and forth again, until like Ezra actually like steps up and shows him that.
Bro, in one of the episodes where he's training in season 1, Chopper almost kills him.
I know.
When he's throwing the like cans or whatever. At him.
Yeah, and then he like falls off the ship.
He shit falls off the ship.
Dude, the amount of war crimes Chopper has committed is just ridiculous.
You know, Chopper's voiced by Dave Filoni.
Is it really?
Yeah, it was always a secret because it would always say Chopper as himself, and nobody ever knew who it was. Even the other actors never did.
so
Because
funny.
Filoni would record it in secret when everybody would leave and stuff. And then in the finale, in the cast list, it finally says Dave Filoni as Chopper.
That's so funny. I realized two things with Chopper. I realized two things with him. I never realized, again, just a stupid like smooth brain moment, that his like code, his droid code spells out chop. Like
Yeah.
C1-10P.
C1, it's C1
Dash
dash
10P.
10P, I think.
Yeah.
I think there's a 0.
Yeah, 10 is 1 and 0, if you recall from kindergarten.
C110P.
Yeah, that's what I said. Anyways,
Yeah, I suppose chop.
and the other thing is that like if you watch it enough and like you watch just Star Wars in general enough, you like start to understand, like you can start to hear like the voice through the beeping. 'Cause, like,
Yeah,
sometimes
you can hear him.
you can like actually
Yeah.
understand what he says. It's like, oh my god.
You want to hear a crazy fact?
Huh.
So, the total kill count for Chopper
Oh my
is
god.
19 confirmed indirect kills,
Oh my god.
49,997 estimated indirect kills using sabotage,
Oh.
and 20 estimated kills using explosives.
49. This Chopper has 50,000 kills. 50,000,
So
and more than half of those are war crimes.
Oh my god.
The other thing too, speaking of droids, episode 3, I think, we just see C-3PO and R2 right away, just like out of nowhere, and then C-3PO's like, "What's secret
Oh, yeah.
mission?" Like he's talking to R2 because R2's going crazy, talking about the secret mission from A New Hope, which is actually on our screen right now. It's kind of funny.
God.
Full circle.
Yeah, Ezra Bridges' kill count is pretty high up there too.
Yeah.
Even more than Chopper's because of the finale.
Mm. Yeah, the Imperials though they're not real people.
I feel like Chopper probably has a higher kill count than R2 does.
R2 wasn't really like a murderer.
But
though,
if you count the Death Star as part of R2's thing, then
that wasn't
he's
R2
way
though.
higher. But he was with Luke.
He was with Luke, but he didn't like release the proton bombs or the ion bombs.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Luke probably has the highest kill count of anybody. Even like higher than Vader, just from that one moment.
Yeah, he killed so many people.
I mean, it's a whole like. Actually,
Oh
no.
my
You know who
God.
does? It's the dude from. It was the dude that shot Alderaan from the Death Star. I bet you that was more.
Maybe. Do you count that as Tarkin, or do you count it
I'm
as
counting it as the dude. I'm counting
the
it as-
soldier? Soldier
counting-
clicked the button.
I'm counting it as the dude that pulled the lever. Because he actually like pulled the trigger. To me, I mean, Tarkin is also responsible, and so is Vader.
Yeah,
and
no, it's like
Krennic and
Tarkin gave the order.
But again,
So
actually, Leia was the reason that Alderaan blew up because she didn't release the location of her rebel base. But she did. Actually, no, because she did. She did, but then they blew it up anyways.
She said it was a random. She said a random planet where there was like nobody on, and then he was like, "You're lying," and then they just blew up Alderaan instead because that's her home.
I think it was still the correct planet, though. I'm trying to remember.
No,
what she
I
said.
wasn't. She she said it was a different planet, and they were like, "Yeah, no, you're lying because of whatever."
You're lying. Say goodbye to your home. Yeah, I guess not. I forgot about that. It's been a while.
I can't. It's not saying, but I would have to rewatch that moment. But yeah, it's crazy. They just blew up a whole planet right there.
Yeah,
That was the first time I think they blew up a whole planet. Because before it was like
it was just Jeddah City.
cities and different things.
Actually, no. You know what? It was the dude who fired Starkiller Base. Took out a whole freaking system.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I keep forgetting, bruh. What is wrong with these Star Wars, dude?
A bunch of the New Republic like planets and stuff.
Yeah, the whole like
The New
system.
Republic leadership.
They took out like the Coruscant equivalent of
Yeah, I don't think they ever blew up
that.
Coruscant itself because that would be
No.
crazy.
It was the equivalent of whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, season 1, it's a good season. I think season 2, to the end of season 2, those episodes, and then season 4 are my favorite for sure.
Yes, I agree with that. I think the end of season 2 so far, from what I've seen, I'm on episode 12 of season.
Those are the best episodes. That episode,
The
Twilight of the Apprentice.
yeah,
That's
the
an
Sith
insane
Temple.
episode.
So the thing that always pisses me off is the helicopter lightsabers. I never ever understood why Inquisitors could just fly by spinning their lightsabers. I hated that.
Yeah.
It is the most awkward thing ever. But either way, it doesn't ruin the episode as much as I thought.
Yeah, no, it's just that moment, you know, Ahsoka and Vader. It's just so good, so good.
Like especially now with like the Kenobi show, after watching that, and like Vader's like you didn't kill Anakin or whatever, or you didn't cause this. I'm like, I killed him. Like seeing that and like seeing Ahsoka go through that same thing.
Mm-hmm. The two halves of the helmet, and only Luke could actually take it all.
You will die braver than most. Surprised Ezra lasted that long, to be honest. That boy was screwed.
Dude, yeah, no, that was crazy. He was like, "I'm not scared of you," and then he's like, "And you'll die braver than most." That's a hard line, but
I
that is such a hard.
if Vader said that to me, I'm out of that.
I'm like,
I'm
you know what?
jumping
I
off.
might actually be a little scared now.
I'm jumping off the temple, bro. You can have my
Oh
life.
man, that Ahsoka
You
comes in
die
clutch.
braver than most.
If it was any other Jedi running at him, he would have just struck down Ezra and then started fighting. But he left Ezra because Ahsoka was running at him. He was like, "Oh,
I get it.
this is Ahsoka."
Like the apprentice.
You know what I mean? Because
lives.
he was about to strike down on him, and then
Yeah.
Ahsoka, is just standing there.
Well, he's like mid swing, or he has lightsaber up. He turns around and he goes, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
And it gets.
But I think he was fighting her with two hands too.
He was. I noticed that too. I'm like, that's unlike him.
Some moments it was one hand, but yeah, he had to use two, like with Obi-Wan.
But
That's how you know he's actually trying.
Yeah, but the suit was also awkward for him to use two hands. Also, his lightsaber.
Yeah, no, it is.
His build was like just awful.
But yeah, that's when you knew he was trying though. Like, okay, this person's actually like good.
Right.
Most of the time, he's just not even trying. He's just boom, 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 boom. You're dead.
No, because he got the one hand because it looks sick. That's literally.
And it looks sick.
He's just
intimidating.
He's just crazy with the one hand. It's like, yeah, I beat you with one hand. What are you gonna do?
Exactly. Dude, if I'm seeing this guy take out all these people with one hand, I'm just.
Yeah, you think I'm going after?
I'm just leaving.
No.
It's like in the clip of Anakin in the Jedi Temple. He's like fighting like 4 masters with one hand. He's choking another person with the other.
Yeah.
Like, dude. And you won't grant him the rank of master, dude? Like, crazy.
I saw
It's like
I saw like a fan animation of like a redo of like Mace Windu beating Palpatine, and then Anakin walks in, and he's like, "All right, just this one time, I'll let you do whatever you want as long as you don't kill me." And Anakin was like, "Okay, what if I just have like a secret marriage with Padme and all this stuff?" And Mace was like, "Oddly specific, but I guess we can do that." And then they just happily ever after.
That's funny.
That was funny. Well, now, what were you saying?
I don't remember.
Classic.
Yeah. Anyways, Rebel Season 1 is very good. We'll be talking about Season 2
Whenever you
for our next
decide
episode,
to
most
watch the
likely.
actual show, you better watch it next week.
I will have rewatched Season 2.
You gotta finish season 1. You're only
By
halfway
next
through
episode.
season 1, by the way. There's 15 episodes.
Yeah. They're only like 20 minutes. It's fine.
I don't know how you do, bro. I finished season 1 in a day. A day.
Yeah, but you're crazy.
I just watch it at work.
Well, valid. Good way to pass time.
Literally, because I literally at work.
But yeah, I think that's all for this episode.
We got a little short one today. We gotta make up for the
Short one.
We gotta make up for the first couple episodes.
Hopefully, we have some May 4th news too for next episode.
Actually, before I just bought Legos. I just spent
we just bought Legos.
$170 to get the free Death Star.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
Yes, you did.
And all the sets I wanted were sold out.
Lego episode is cooking up still. We tease it every time, but it's
We're waiting for announcements.
it is coming.
We're waiting for
It
announcements.
is coming.
That's all. We want.
Yeah.
So the gunship, the Republic gunship, that's like $160, $130 like size, has been like semi-confirmed. It's just been leaked so much that like it's kind of confirmed, but it's not supposed to come out until like August. And then the UCS vendor as well has not been confirmed, but it also
There'll probably be
bunch.
some good sets for the Ahsoka show too.
Well, that's true. When does that come out? Is that August?
August.
Okay. That's the next project besides Visions and Tales of the Jedi.
Yep. But yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Talk about season 2 and hopefully some Star Wars news. Peace.
Yes. Peace out.